with is I want to say one other thing, too, before we go to the break here. And this is just a housekeeping thing. I notice many of you, when I take your call, say, I want to get right to the point. Mr. Snerdley told me to get right to the point. Let me tell you why you are told to get right to the point. It's not because Snerdley is mean, and it is not in any way insulting. It is so the show doesn't lose pace. It is all for the express purpose of moving the show forward. The show establishes a momentum. I, as host, provide it. Going to the phones should not slow it down. And so the reminder, get to what you wanted to talk about. That's why you're going on the air, what you wanted to talk about. And it's just a friendly reminder just to get in, get it, and get out. It's all about flow and momentum. It has nothing to do with being insulting. It's not that nobody wants to talk to you. Snerdley told me to get right to the point, so, I really don't want to get to the point. There's some things I want to say first, but Snerdley told me to get to the point. It's not that we don't want you to have fun. It's about the flow. It's about maintaining the old mo. And it's about having you look as good and sound as good as you possibly can, because what you called about is what you're passionate about. And that's the magic. Okay, quick timeout. Back with more after this. That's right. That was a caller clinic. We used to do these things regularly in the early days because calls were used so differently on this program than your traditional, standard, ordinary radio talk show back in the day. And it was necessary to explain to people. Folks, it's no different. Let's say you're invited to a Super Bowl party, and you go to the Super Bowl. You arrive, and you walk in the door, and you start talking to whoever's there, whatever's on your mind. Hey, who thinks going to win the game? You don't say, well, I was told when I got here, just to get straight to the point. Yeah, well, who do you think's going to win? Well, I just want you to know that somebody told me not to mess around when I get here, and I'm supposed to just say what we know. Who's going to win? I'm just telling you, I was told when I got here. This guy that invited me to Snerdley said when I get here, I'm supposed to do this and that. Okay, well, fine. If you don't want to tell me you're going to win, fine. We'll move on. That's what would happen at a Super Bowl party. Now, we're more polite than your average Super Bowl host. So we work with, because calls are rank amateurs and we love them and so forth, trying to train them to becoming their own version of seasoned broadcast professionals.
Yeah, this is Adam. I'm the guy who puts together Rush Limbaugh clips, 8-Taxin, Trump Nation, Sven Wang, wherever you're hearing this. I just want to pass on. This is from earlier in the show, the call that I think prompted Rush Limbaugh to do this caller clinic. You can take a listen here and evaluate what you just heard from Rush.
And we're going to get started back on the phones with Daryl in Sarasota, Florida. Great to have you, Daryl. How are you doing?
Hey, Rush. How are you?
Fine and dandy. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, I was your first listener back in when you first came on the air. When Noah, unfortunately, boarded both the elephants and the donkeys on the ark, and you were the most dangerous man in America.
I still am in the estimation of many. But if you're on the first, you're back in 1988.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, the reason I called in just quickly to getting back to your last segment, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, like 6,000 people. And my dad always said, even if the town drunk sold your car, you'd still keep up the payments on it. And our church sponsored a foreign exchange student.
What section? What are you talking about? What segment did I do that you're referring to here?
You're talking about immigration and things that the Democrats are fighting against. But my point is, 6,000 people in our little town. This was the first African American, and we never associated color. I mean, we were more impressed with her because she was intelligent and great singer.
Who were you more impressed with?
Her.
Who was her?
She was from Barbados, and that was the first African American we had in our community. I mean,
I don't know what this has to do with anything I've talked about here. I'm trying to, and I've got 20 seconds left here, so I can't. What we talked about here was elections and how the Democrats are very quietly winning a whole bunch of them, and nobody's talking about it, and it ought not be happening, and that George Soros is providing the money, and that the Republicans better get their butts in gear about it.